But suddenly, the Senate president called on Senator Mongunu that he should read. And then when he read, what we noticed was the word transmit was changed to transfer and real time was deleted. And some senators were objecting to that. But, it's like what I say, it's a coup because what happened was more like it was already predetermined drama, whereby some senators were deliberately making noise, speaking loudly. It was like an opera situation, whereby the voices of those that were objecting were kind of drowned.
What the hell went on here? In fact, it was Senator Victor Ume who called my attention. I said, what we have in the paper before us, which we were supposed to have just gone through, was not what was passed, so that it was transfer. Then I walked to the Senate president and asked him, what exactly did we pass now? He told me himself, oh no, it was transmission. It's not a problem. Everything is fine.
But the moment I stepped out of the chambers, I received text messages, Wi-Fi, WhatsApp messages from my staff. He was trying to notify me. He was like, Madam, distinguished, please, there's a plan to change the word transmit to transfer. Please object, notify your colleagues.
I have lost hope in the whole process. I've lost hope in Nigeria. But again, my courage is being rekindled. My trust and passion for the country is getting back. And I'm really happy for some Nigerians that had to create an X space, and Senator Abaribe and Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan were there to offer their own insight as to exactly what happened. And like you heard it just now, as in the highlight, it was a coup that happened. It was a coup d'etat. The same coup that happened in 2023 elections, the same coup that has happened in everywhere, the same coup happened in tax reform, in the same coup. Forgers and riggers just manipulated the system to get in their way. But of course, we're on them. And I'm happy that Senator Abaribe has offered himself to becoming a voice this time. Of course, Senator Natasha has always been for the people. So we'll begin to use these avenues, this advantage we have with at least both of them and a few others who are joining forces with them, to teach this National Assembly that it is not business as usual. We may have lost that in decision making about security, about institutional failure, our security forces being used to do all sorts. But you see, this electoral reform, we will put our foot on the ground because it will be the ultimate decider. So let's go back to the video and listen to Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan and Senator Abaribe speak about what happened in National Assembly and what is the way forward. That's the most important thing. It's not just enough. It is not over yet. I need to say that at this point. It is not over yet. It is not over. There is still a process of revisiting, and there is still the harmonization part with the House of Reps. But we want to ensure that the Senate prove themselves and tell Senator Apkabio that he is not Lord of all and Master of all. We will teach him a lesson. There is a Nigerian first before anything else. Listen to them and listen clearly to the part where the next line of action is being discussed. You don't give up. We press their neck, we'll get results with this. They are too small. You cannot call yourself master strategist and you want to rig your way back to power. Who be small picking? Now you get this country. Listen to them.
But suddenly, the Senate president called on Senator Mongunu that he should read. And then when he read, what we noticed was the word transmit was changed to transfer and real time was deleted. And some senators were objecting to that. But, it's like what I say, it's a coup because what happened was more like it was already predetermined drama, whereby some senators were deliberately making noise, speaking loudly. It was like an opera situation, whereby the voices of those that were objecting were kind of drowned. And there were quite a number of them who were saying, no, that's not it. Why do you change the word transmit into to transfer and all of that? But before you know it, the Senate president asked the question of nay or a, and then he hit the gavel when he got the a that accepted the word transfer. And then that was where there was a whole lot of conversations going on. But of course,
Okay.
the rule is that once the gavel has been hit, then that's it.
Okay.
But I would say this, because when we're in chambers, we can't access our phones because there's the service gets jammed. But the moment I stepped out of the chambers, I received text messages, Wi-Fi, WhatsApp messages from my staff. I won't mention his name. And he then mentioned, he was trying to hint me of that plan. Pretty much the workers in the National Assembly, you know how there's this conversation of those who already knew what was going to happen. He was trying to notify me. He was like, Madam, distinguished, please, there's a plan to change the word transmit to transfer. Please object, notify your colleagues. But I was not privy to that information because my phone was not working then. Maybe if I had access to that information, I would have notified more senators to be prepared and
It was exactly what happened. There was a lot of movement, a lot of noise, and all that, and we never knew what just transpired. And we turned around and said, no, 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 what the hell went on here? In fact, it was Senator Victor Ume who called my attention. I said, what we have in the paper before us, which was supposed to have just gone through, was not what was passed, so that it was transfer. Then I walked to the Senate president and asked him, what exactly did we pass now? He told me himself, oh no, it was transmission. It's not a problem. Everything is fine. And I believed him. I came back. And then everybody was saying, no, 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 this is what went on and all that. So we now said, okay, what do we do now? Under our rules, once the gavel is hit, you can only come back to that particular issue by a written motion. So it's like tying your hands. You can't move anymore. It's called a motion on rescission. And so what we now said, okay, fine. And he continued saying, don't worry, it was transmission. After all, he has been there in the rules before. But we said, no, the issue is not whether he has been there in the rules before. It was there. But it was there as an internal matter and a guideline of the INEC. And the Supreme Court ruled that the fact that it's a guideline of INEC does not make it law. That's why everybody wanted to be put in the law. So where do we stand today? We stand with the fact that we thought that what we had passed was transmission. And they now say, oh no, what was passed is transfer. I say, okay, fine. Let us see the votes and proceedings. Usually, when you finish all your work in the Senate and do everything, the votes and proceedings, which follow on the next legislative day, you have to pass it. And the question is it a true reflection of what we have done? So we intend, and in our press conference, we said it very clearly, we want to see the votes and proceedings and know exactly what they have put there as what we passed. If what they have put there as what we passed is transfer according to the 2022 Act, then it means that we will have to activate the next step of our resistance. Because the problem is very simple. If we don't stop this, if we don't make the transmission of results in the law, they're still going to do exactly what they do in 2023. Write results, call it, and tell you to go to court. When you now get to court, the court will now tell you that it's not in the law.